Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. It's Monday. My goodness, it's the last week of April already. We are so glad that you have joined us. My name is Kim Spillers, and you are with Rural Community Solutions, where we help you design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract the people you'd like to have live around you and play around you and have businesses together and have a marvelous economy and a wonderful school system and all those things that we want for our communities.
Wow.
Right?
I'm done.
There you go.
I'm Frank Spillers.
I'm on a roll. He's my better half.
Oh, no, not the better one. I'm half of Rural Community Solutions,
Yes.
and we are rural community experts. We work not in your projects, but we work with your people. So kind of think of us as the psychologist, psychiatrist for your community. Or is your community exhibiting trauma? Does it experience the trauma? Are you trying to get over a traumatic experience? I think we're all trying to get over that experience of COVID.
So
and
true.
How do we recover in the best possible way that we're moving forward and not going back to where we were prior to COVID? So that's what this show is all about. That's what Rural Communities is all about. Solutions is all about. Is that we look at your community, we work with you, with your people, not just with your leaders. We work with your community. We go from the leadership down now all across the spectrum of your whole community, and you have to be inclusive to that.
Mm-hmm.
The more inclusive, the more engaging your community is, the more money you will attract, the more investment you will attract. There's evidence of that. We have proof of that. We are working a proven system of how you build your people and how you build your environment to build your economy. And so today I do have to mention that if you are on one of our Facebook pages, either at Rural Community Solutions or Frank Spiller's Facebook pages, our software that we're using, our platform that we're using that we stream from, has given me the warning today that they're having issues with the Facebook connection, that it might drop off early. So if we drop off Facebook early, go to our YouTube channel at Rural Community Solutions TV on YouTube, and you can catch the episode. Or if you just want to listen to it as a podcast, you can catch the episode this afternoon at Think Like an Entrepreneur, become a spark plug at anchor.fm/Frank Spillers.
So today what we're going to be talking about is the reason that your community needs to focus, several of the reasons your community needs to focus on entrepreneurship. At Rural Community Solutions, that is the consistent drum that we beat, is entrepreneurship, small business development. Engage your current businesses, your existing businesses, help them expand, help them realize their dreams, help them hire new people. Small business development is what we are absolutely all about. So we're going to share a few things with you from the Kauffman Foundation, America's New Business Plan today.
And so the Kauffman Foundation is a foundation in Kansas City, Missouri that works globally, actually, on how do we create environments for entrepreneurs to thrive. And so what the Kauffman Foundation has come out with is a plan to reinvigorate the entrepreneurial spirit across this country, across the world. New business startups. And in economic development, we have to agree that the momentum and the focus in economic development anymore in our communities has been on how do we recruit those businesses to our communities that will supply our jobs. In other words, how do we recruit that manufacturing facility that will supply 50 jobs to our community, 100 jobs to our community? How do we recruit that Facebook plan that will, or the Facebook server farm that will, create property taxes that will reinvigorate our community, but only creating about 30 to 40 jobs? How do we do that? And that's where the focus has been. What Kauffman is saying is we need to change our focus. We need to give entrepreneurs that chance, because small businesses, entrepreneurs, new business startups are the job creators. It might not create that job, it might not create that impact right away, but you have to give it a chance. You have to give it that foundation to where it can be built. And that's how our communities have been built. And so with policy, with leadership, with our community environment, you need to set that base to where entrepreneurs can thrive and survive. Okay.
It's very expensive, especially anymore. It's just a zero-sum game to try to steal. We wouldn't call it stealing, of course, but when you try to recruit a business away from another community, nobody wins in that scenario. The other community loses, you lose a lot of money, even if you might, get them to come there and settle into your town. They're just likely to stay. That business is likely to stay only for the tax incentives that you give to them. And then in 5 years or whenever, they're likely to just uproot and go to another community. When you focus on entrepreneurship and small business development, you have people who are going to invest in your small community. They're likely to live there. They're likely to put their kids in your school district. They're all of the things that we need for community stability and community succession come with focusing on existing small businesses and small business development. So listen to a few of these tips from the Kauffman Foundation, because this is what we've been talking about for decades with Rural Community Solutions.
So it's not really tips, but what it is policy. And we need to really start focusing on creating an environment for entrepreneurs to thrive in that environment. And not all communities, okay, not all businesses, all right, are just looking for the tax incentives. I would say that a lot of them are, and they will wait around and leave, and you're left with a huge building on there. How do you get rid of that? Even in our malls these days, those malls are shifting. Our main streets are shifting. How do we shift with them? How do we transform our communities and not try to hang on to what we're trying to fight? We're trying to hang on to the past all the time. We're trying to hang on to that. What we need to do is look to the future, vision, and help our communities transform from where they are to where they need to be. And so as we look at what needs to happen, Kauffman comes out on their America's Business Plan, comes out with these 4 points. Create opportunity. We need to level the playing field and reduce red tape, use less red tape. In other words, when it comes to starting that business, entrepreneurs need that level playing field as with a large manufacturer. We're in a lot of even our government programs, we will loan money, we will incentivize a existing business if they create those jobs. But it has to have, you need 3 years of taxes, you need 3 years of what's behind you to be considered for that loan package. It's not that small business startup idea. It's, here's my idea, let's do a pitch deck and I'm going to pitch it to you. That's really traditionally for the angel investors, the investors that are built for startups. That's not for a lot of the loan programs we have there. Banks aren't interested in that. Most of the banks aren't interested in that. So there's not a lot of opportunity for that entrepreneur, for that small business to go. And so this goes into our second point too, is funding. It's equal access to the right kind of capital everywhere. And that's what I was talking about, is the investor capital. It's the capital of traditional loan programs. It's the risk capital that we have out there. That's usually for those existing businesses. And yes, we have to understand that banks are in business also. Banks are a business, and the way that the banks make money is on those interest payments, is on the repayment ability of that business. I understand that. And so how do we help with and work with those existing banks that we can leverage what they do, but also help the existing entrepreneur, help those new business startups? How do we provide those safety nets for the opportunity and the funding that can come in? Now, the third portion is knowledge. It's that know how to start a business. And that's where the entrepreneurial ecosystem comes in. How do we support those, and how do we utilize all the resources and all the agencies? Because, entrepreneurship over the last couple of years have become the thing to help create. And so there is a ecosystem that's going. Like, universities are starting to jump on the bandwagon. We have government entities that are starting to jump on the bandwagon. They're starting to jump on the bandwagon to provide knowledge resources, not so much funding resources, but knowledge resources that can help direct and help support entrepreneurs. And so we really need to expand that knowledge base so entrepreneurs know what's available to them, and then supply that support. And that's ability to take all risks, okay, for everybody to take those risks, because becoming an entrepreneur is all about risk taking. It really is, but it's calculated risk. It's not a blind risk like you might think of. I don't train to jump out of an airplane, I just jump. That's not what entrepreneurship is. That's not what I would do out of an airplane either. All right. I would want to know how to do it. I would want to know what's the least risk to take, even though I know it's a risk, because there are unknowns in opening your business. Even though I do want to take that risk, how can we mitigate those risks to where it's a little safer? So opportunity, funding, knowledge, and support. Those four areas. How do we transform our economy? How do we transform what we know in economic development? How do we transform our community to help those entrepreneurs get a leg up and move forward?
So even though those are four separate points with four separate focal areas, those 4 points together make what we have been talking about for quite a while, and is that ecosystem that Frank was referencing a few minutes ago. Is that when you have the opportunity and the support, those both really come, well, the opportunity, I think, would be most recognized like in a community by your city councils and your county economic development people, your chambers. Those people would be places where you could look for open-mindedness. Who's going to look at someone's idea and think, oh, okay, we have a space for that. That sounds like something that we need. So opportunity is open-mindedness. And then funding goes back to people who have access to money and capital, angel investors, banks, whomever. And then the knowledge, you may not have an academic knowledge base in your town to be able to do that. But you got people who know how to start a business because they've got businesses themselves. So, and then the support is the community wrapping itself around new ideas. So all of those things together, even though they are four distinct points, brings that ecosystem together, that we are all better together. We all share when a business either fails or succeeds. And the more we come together to think that there are new ideas that can bring life and new vitality to our communities, and that's a good thing. So looking at those four different points brings everything together into that ecosystem.
So entrepreneurship is a huge opportunity right now because there are a lot of people that are not working a steady job. There's a pool of people out there that might have a sideline business. They might have something they're going on in their home that they are earning that extra income. They're waiting for their businesses to be up and running. They're waiting for their businesses to provide them the other opportunity. They're waiting. Why don't you as a community take that opportunity to help support them and to start moving them? Because a lot of those entrepreneurs need that support. So if you're ready to do that, give us an email and let us know, because we're ready to help you to start opening up.
So if Kim at G Horizons or Frank at G Horizons, if you have friends or colleagues who have a business idea, you know about it, you think, that could work here. Let's talk. Encourage them to reach out to us if you don't feel that that's your place. But giving them some sort of sounding board to see whether or not that might be the very next best thing for your community, that's what we're here to do. So we're here Monday through Friday at Facebook, especially when it is connecting to our platform, and on our YouTube channel for Rural Community Solutions. Or if you're listening on the podcast, we thank you for that as well. Anchor.fm/Frank Spillers. Think like an entrepreneur, become a spark plug.
So we will see you tomorrow, and go out and support an entrepreneur today.
Have a great day. Happy week.
Bye-bye.